Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. You've got to say Arsenal are runaway favourites to win this title at this moment in time. They're relentless and they deserve a lot of praise. I said it at the time, there was a massive reaction to losing to Everton, the draw against Brentford, and more importantly, that loss to Man City was many people's pin in the balloon, really. That was it. Arsenal are going to fall apart here. And I remember saying after that game, it's a huge blow to Arsenal, but it's how you respond to that. If you go away and beat Villa and you go away and beat Leicester, and both those teams are not in a relegation battle, really. Certainly Leicester, I suppose, are, but they'd had two really good results. To go and win those games, 6 points after Man City, and then you've got Everton and Bournemouth to come at home. You've got an opportunity to lose to Man City, but go and take 12 from 12. It reminds me of what Arsenal sort of did last year, but they still missed out on top four. But they sort of learnt this thing. As long as you don't draw, losing the odd game won't actually do you much damage. Losing to Man City is bad, but if you go and win your next four, you're absolutely fine. And I think there is this thing with Arsenal that they're going to crumble because that's what Arsenal do. But things only... Arsenal weren't a team that crumbled under Wenger until the latter years. Arsenal became a team that was fighting for fourth place and then hasn't been in the Champions League for years. But you only break that mould by, literally changing it. And I'm not surprised by what Arsenal have done. I think they're really impressive under Arteta. I think they're a different Arsenal. I say this about Man United all the time. We're mentality kings because we're fighting on all four fronts. We're playing games every 3.5 days and we keep winning. But Arsenal are similar in their own way in the sense that Man City result was never really, and it was very unlikely it was going to define them. And it was very unlikely that their season was going to start to fall apart because their season before that was already relentless. It was win, 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 win. I think they'd lost one game to Nottingham Forest before that Everton game. And they will drop more points. And Man City is still very much in the title race. But Arsenal have taken that. It's a bit like, it's like a boxing match, isn't it? A title race when it's a two-way. They got into the ring, the two heavyweights of the Premier League, and Man City knocked them to the ground. And they get up, they're unsteady on their feet, and it's whether you're going to get knocked down again or whether you're going to, put your gloves up and just, take a deep breath and just try and get over that knockout blow and stay on your feet until you can start throwing some punches again. And I think that's what Arsenal have done. They've ridden the knockout from Man City. They've got back up on their feet. Aston Villa last week could have gone either way at times, but they rode it out. They got the late winger, and then they've been to Leicester today, and they've thoroughly deserved the win. They're back on their feet again now, and now they're throwing punches. They've got Everton at home. They've got Bournemouth at home. You'd expect them to win both of those. I think that's probably, even as a United fan, I think that's probably going to kill our title challenge because we've got Liverpool next week. And unless we win there, I don't think you can put us into it. And then it comes down to that shootout that everyone thinks it is between Man City and Arsenal. I think to Arsenal's credit, I've always said, if Man United can't win the league, I want Arsenal to win it. Today, I'd like Leicester to have got a result because it just opens the door for Man United a bit. But the fear with that is if United lose at Liverpool and we're not in a title race, you don't want Man City to win it. So... but you also have to watch football. Well, you don't have to, but the way I watch football is I'll always be respectful to what is deserved. And there is no doubt that Arsenal were the better team today. And there is no doubt that they deserved that win against Villa. And there's no doubt that they deserve the praise and they are in a title race. And I think some people have said, oh, Arsenal are going to fall apart and finish third. Arsenal are going to crumble. And I think that's just, it's a bad take, in my opinion. I think it's a bit like saying, Martinez is going to fail in the Premier League because he's 5'10". It's a badly thought out prediction based on very little evidence or research. This Arsenal side already is not the Arsenal side of the last few years that's finished 8th and not been in the Champions League. They've been top of the league since the start of August. We're now into March, basically. That's not an accident. Like, if Arsenal were top of the league after 3 games, talking about winning the league, you'd be a prat because... over the years, we've seen loads of teams start the league well and then fall away. They've been consistently the best team in the league. And it's not a surprise to me that they've responded to that loss to Man City in the way that they have. They've got people like Jesus to come back. They have got Thomas Partey still out with Jorginho in there. And yet they're still comfortable. Arsenal's job now is to just make sure they keep winning games like this. They've got to beat Everton at home. They've got to beat Bournemouth at home. And then it gets interesting because what are they going to do with the Europa League? What are you going to do with the Europa League, Arsenal? Because to me, if you win the Premier League, I think Ten Hag's been amazing, but you can't not give Manager of the Year to Arteta because nobody thought Arsenal were going to win the league. And it's not like it's a bad Premier League season. It's one of the best Premier League seasons ever. When Leicester won the Premier League, it was remarkable, but I felt they caught Man City when they were crap, United were crap, Chelsea weren't that good, Arsenal weren't that good. I think Spurs were the main challenger. That's how bad that season was. And fair play to Leicester. Even then, you wouldn't expect them to win it, and they did. But this is not that. Arsenal are a big club, but let's not pretend Arsenal were a contender to win this title. And not only are they a contender now, they're doing it in a very, very good Premier League season. So they deserve to be where they are. It's an enormous thing if they win it. Now, what do Arsenal do about the Europa League? Because to me, and it doesn't matter to me, but to me, you play Sporting Lisbon on the Thursday and then you play Fulham away on the Sunday. Fulham are brilliant this year and it's at Craven Cottage. They won't have played in Europe. Are you going to jeopardise 3 points against Fulham by playing a strong team against Sporting Lisbon? And that is a big thing for Arsenal now. They've got to start looking at the finish line. There's still loads of games to play, but they've got to start looking at the finish line and go, where can... Some things you won't be able to avoid, like what happened at Goodison Park. You go there, you think you're good enough to win and you lose. That will happen. But you've got to start looking at things you can avoid. Now, do you go strong in the Europa League and potentially cause yourself issues in the Premier League? And I think that's a big thing for them to look at because they play Sporting Lisbon, then they play Fulham away, then they play Sporting Lisbon, then they play Palace at home. And they're both sort of games in this competitive Premier League that if you get it wrong, you could drop points. So I'll be interested to see how Arsenal do that because I don't think they've got a big enough squad to go strong in both. But on the other hand, if you go weak against Sporting Lisbon, how weak Arsenal could go could be, we're not focused on that. Look, I mean, basically, do you want to win a trophy this year? Yes. Go and win the Premier League. What's the benefit of winning the Europa League? It's another 7 games to win it. It's Thursday to Sunday football, which is dangerous. You win a trophy and you qualify for the Champions League. Well, you're qualifying for the Champions League anyway. So it's about how important that tournament is to Arsenal. I don't know what they're going to do, but you've got to start looking at things, haven't you? And Man City have got the squad. Everyone knows Man City have got the squad. But Arsenal's bounce back, fantastic. Losing to Man City and then winning these 2 away games against Leicester and Villa, which are difficult games. Let's not start pretending that this league is not as competitive as it is. They're 2 big wins and they've put themselves right back in that favourites position again now. And they've got that little gap, haven't they? They've got a game in hand and they've got a 2-point gap. So even if they lose to Man City, if they keep winning, they've still got that 2-point gap. So look, it's really interesting. It's a fantastic Premier League season. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you subscribe, smash a like and get your comments in below. I'll speak to you all soon.